From a jazz man to a composer, arranger, record company executive, magazine founder, record, film, and television producer, as well as being a civil rights soldier, he's earned his legendary status a dozen times over. Because of all that and more, we celebrate the iconic four-time Outstanding Jazz Artist NAACP Image Award winner that is Quincy Jones. Born in the south side of Chicago, March 14, 1933, the phenomenon that is Quincy Delight Jones has a successful career that spanned over 7 decades. Jones's talent for music was evident early. Quincy spent his formative years in Seattle, and at 14, the young aspiring trumpeter began working with the then unknown pianist/vocalist Ray Charles at age 14. Beyond their music, the two would become instant and lifelong friends.
We had a little 7 or 8 piece band, Bumps Blackwell Jr. Band, and Charlie Taylor Band, then became my band. And we used to wear our white cardigans and like a tuxedo ties and play the tennis club, which is the real upper crust stuff. And at 10 o'clock, it was like a total personality change, and we played all the black clubs, the Rockin' Chair and the Black and Tan, the Washington Educational and Social Club, played for strippers, we had to do comedy. Ray Charles would be doing the same thing around town with his trio, the Maxim Trio. About 2 o'clock, and we'd all meet down to the Elks Club, and for our own love, we all played bebop.
After high school, Jones continued his musical studies at the prestigious Schillinger House, now Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts. His studies at the Berklee College of Music gave him the chance to develop his jazz chops.
I left Seattle and went to Boston. I met Oscar Pettiford, and he asked me to write a couple of arrangements for him, and I wrote some things, and he said, I'd like you to come down to New York. Walking into New York for the first time is I gotta say, is one of the most awesome experiences. I mean, especially a kid that's all he's heard about is Charlie Parker, 52nd Street and Birdland and all of that.
At 20 years old, an ambitious Quincy went on and toured with Lionel Hampton's band as a musician and arranger. The trumpet blasting sideman to the stars has jazz roots that run deep.
Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, Max Roach, and Thelonious Monk, and Miles Davis, and Sarah Vaughan, and Ella Fitzgerald, and James Moody, who I worked with as a sole source of support, and George Benson, it blows me away.
As a young trumpet player, he was fascinated with Miles Davis. Artists from every era of American popular music, from bebop to hip-hop, have turned to Quincy Jones to help them achieve their best. He has indelibly marked the careers of Dizzy Gillespie, Dinah Washington, Frank Sinatra, Aretha Franklin, Michael Jackson, and scores more. After continued success from the 1950s through to the late 80s, many musicians of Jones's generation complained. But Jones had always shown a willingness with new styles. His game-changing success on Michael Jackson's 1982 LP Thriller allowed Jones as a producer to reinvent the pop icon, catapulting and cementing both he and Michael's legacy. Jones followed this triumph in the 80s with We Are the World, a song recorded in one night featuring several popular artists of the time, led by Quincy Jones. The song became a massive success, reaching #1 in the US within 3 weeks of release in April 1985. In 1990, Quincy won the NAACP Image Award Outstanding Album for Back on the Block. Jones's album from that year drew together R&B, pop, jazz, and rap with the help of a myriad of top-tier guest vocalists and musicians, from Big Daddy Kane and Ice-T to Miles Davis and Chaka Khan. The album features legendary musicians and singers from across 3 generations, introducing us to newcomer Tevin Campbell.
I said, the young voices work great here. They've been telling me about this young kid. Maybe I should listen to him again. And he blew me away, and I hurried up and put him on the record.
As well as creating compositions like the gold single, The Secret Garden. Back on the Block also brought Quincy's longtime friend Ray Charles back together on the album hit single, I'll Be Good to You.
It was a song that I originally recorded with the Brothers Johnson. And it's a song I wanted to redo, and I kept telling people like 3 or 4 years ago, that's a song you should re-record, and so nobody did it, so I did it.
After the success of Back on the Block, for a second act, Jones gathered new and old names in jazz, R&B, and hip-hop once again, and delivering with 1995's Q's Juke Joint. Reaching #1 on the Billboard Jazz Album charts and the re-release of Quincy's 1958 Home Again, recorded in Sweden. resulting in his 1995 win at the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Jazz Artist. At the 1997 NAACP Awards, Quincy won the Outstanding Jazz Artist Award for his Jazz Round Midnight project, and then again 2 more times in 2000 and 2002. In a career spanning over 7 decades, Quincy Jones has earned his reputation as a Renaissance man of American music. Throughout his career, Jones hasn't just been ahead of the curve, he's created the curve. This highly creative, imaginative musical genius has made outstanding accomplishments as both an entertainer and an architect of popular culture in both the 20th and 21st centuries. We salute the historical musical icon that is Quincy Jones.